Make it make sense.
What's in the Bible that you don't believe?
I don't know anything in there I don't believe. The Bible says God made everything in 6 literal days.
Right.
That's the only way it works. God made plants and animals one day apart. Well, animals need plants to live. Plants need animals to pollinate them. If they evolved first, if the plants evolved millions of years before the animals, how did they get pollinated? Which evolved first, the male or the female? I ask atheists that all the time. You got to have this trillions of times over with your ladybug and your grasshopper and your camel and everything. If the male evolved 10 years before the female, or if he evolved from 50 miles away, you got a problem. Why would he evolve all the equipment to make sperm and deliver it if there's no female? Why would the female evolve all the equipment to receive the sperm and grow a baby? I mean, it's complicated. There's a lot of biology involved in both of those, okay? You think it happened by chance? They have to say yes because they don't want God telling them what to do.
Follow if you believe the Bible's true.
Well, that was some of the dumbest non-science Christian talk I've heard in a very long time. So let's consider what this, who was, I believe, a rather famous Christian apologist was claiming. Well, he's claiming that God built the world in 6 literal days. There are others in the comment who are saying, and undoubtedly they're going to say it here, that one day to God is 1,000 years to man. God's time is not man's time. Okay, that was a metaphor in Peter. That was a metaphor. It wasn't meant to be taken literally. This is one of the problems that you Bible readers have, is that you go in it with this presupposed idea and you just come out of it with all kinds of wrong ideas. But be that as it may, the word used there in the 6-day creation is the word yom, which means a 24-hour day everywhere else that it is used within the Old Testament. So, therefore, it's a 24-hour day. So this man believes that the world was built in 24 hours and that the world was built 6,000 years ago, 6,640 some odd years ago to be more exact. But this is what he believes. He says that that is more accurate, that God built everything in one day. Like one day you got the plants and then the next day you got the animals, because the plants need the animals in order to pollinate. But what we do know scientifically is that not every plant need animals to pollinate. Yeah, bees are an amazing creature. They do a lot of great work. Birds do a lot of great work in pollinating the flowers and so on and so forth. But what I'm blocking with this microphone right now does more pollination than any animal that we have. It's called the wind. The wind. How much pollen is in the air, especially now and through the next few months? And I lived in Georgia, where the streets get painted gold with pollen. That's not animals. That's the wind. That plants release their pollen into the air and the wind blows it in order to pollinate other plants. It doesn't require animals to the degree by which he's speaking of. And the thing about it, at the level that we do have it where animals are involved, it's something that evolved over time, and plants and animals evolved with it. So even if his claim of that the plants were here millions of years prior to any animals being on the planet, which is absolutely not true, but let's say that millions of years passed by and there were no animals, the wind, the water currents would have caused for pollination and vegetation, because life, as they said in the great Jurassic Park movie, life finds a way. And so pollination is not required by animals in the sense that he said. And the most absurd thing that he said is that if the male evolved 10 years before the female, or if the male was 50 miles away from the female and they have all this male junk and the female have all this female junk, well, it's going to waste if there's this 10-year time gap, or that they are 50 miles away, then what's the point of it all? Here's the thing about it. Nothing ever, nothing, not even in plants, not in anything, nothing ever is created or born without both the male and the female. There is no time frame where both the male and the female are not present. And here's something that might kick him in the nuts. There are animals and plants, they're asexual. That's right, asexual, meaning that they have both male and female sex organs or parts within a plant that have both male and female. Therefore, They don't need another one of their kind in order to populate. So he's missing a lot of understanding of science, and I believe purposely so that he can get his message across so that you can believe in his God. But here's the thing. I always like to ask those kind of people. And the San Antonio wind blows. I was going to redo this, but I don't feel like it. So we're going to continue from right where we left off with the wind blows. So anyway, the point is, what about all the other creation stories about other deities? Why isn't the creation story of the Kemetic story the true story then? Because all the plants and animals and things of that nature were made pretty close to each other as far as the Kemetic story. The same can be said as far as the Sumerian story. The same can be said as far as the Buddhist story. The same thing for the Hindu story, the Ifa story. All of their creation stories sound similar to your story or have just their own spin on it. So what does it matter? Why is your story so correct? You have no proof of it. We know Moses didn't write Genesis. We know Genesis wasn't finally finished from all this redaction until the 400 BCE. So why does your story? Oh, because you believe in it. That's why. Because you believe in it. That's why. And this is why belief has no business being around science, because there is no belief in science. There's theory, and those theories are based on observation, and then it's tested to see if those theories are correct. Belief is just purely that. I'm just going to believe because my mom and daddy made me believe, and now I'm justifying that belief. But before the wind blows again, y'all have a great day. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.